All right. Hello, everyone. I am author Teresa Banks, and you are watching Ellacec Publishing Live. Happy holidays to each and every one of you. I am so grateful for you tuning in today and spending a part of your day with me. I cannot believe that we are toward the end of the year. Those of you that know me know that I love me some snow. And not just a few inches, but preferably a foot. Let me stick with a few inches before I get in trouble here. But that is why I have my little snowmen pictures here because I do love the snow. We are in the heart of the winter season. And I hope that you and yours are doing well and that you are looking forward to wrapping up 2025 and bringing in hopefully 2026 with a bang. Well, today I am talking about, no doubt, a subject matter that is the most talked about when I am teaching my classes. Out of the 25 years that I have owned Ellacec Publishing and I have taught classes, this particular subject, and I'm going to go ahead and have it scroll across the screen at the bottom, has been the one that has rose the most questions, where the most questions have arisen based on this topic being copywriting. Needless to say, today I will be talking about, under the main umbrella subject of book publishing, the topic of copywriting. I know some of you have been waiting with bated breath, if you will, on this particular subject matter, because again, it is one that writers and authors have asked me the most questions about over the years. And so I'm going to really delve into this topic today. But before I jump into it, I always ask that each and every one of you, if you're not doing so already, please like, share, and follow the Ellacec Publishing Facebook page. And if you will, please go to YouTube and go ahead and follow the Ellacec Publishing YouTube channel as well. There are a number of different videos that are out there. I'll talk a little bit later into this program about some of the past videos that are out there. And I have shorts that are out there too. I know some of you may not have time to watch a 30-minute video or a 40-minute video, but hopefully you have 1 minute to learn about a particular topic, or maybe 5 minutes to learn something about a particular topic. And so shorts are out there as well on the Ellacec Publishing YouTube channel on various topics. Now, I said I'm going to be talking about copywriting. Let me go ahead and bring up what I call the purple board. And on the purple board, you'll see 3 different areas in particular that I'm going to use to address this subject. I'll talk about what is copywriting, and then I'll talk about how to copyright. And then I have 10 questions under the area of Q&A, questions and answers, that I'm going to step through after I take a short little 2-minute break, a little bit under 2 minutes of a break. I've listed out some questions, and I'm going to, right behind it, give you some detailed answers in regards to those questions of this subject matter of copywriting. Now, before I get into that first area here and speaking on, well, what in the world is copywriting? I'm sure a lot of you have just a basic description in regards to what it is, but let me just paint a little make-believe type of a scenario for you before I delve all the way into this subject matter. Let's say, for example, I've created a book. Now, the book example that I'm going to bring up here across the screen is not a book that I've truly created. I'm just using it as an example here. And let me pause before I bring it up to say hello to those of you that are watching right now live by way of Facebook or by way of YouTube, or that will check things out later, things meaning this subject here, this video on copywriting. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. The example that I'm going to bring here up on the screen of a book cover that you'll see, again, it is not an actual book that I have created, or actually, to be honest, that I'm even thinking about creating in a subject matter. But it's one that I'm using as just an example. I'm going to bring it up now. AI takeover, AI standing for artificial intelligence. Let's pretend that I've written this book and that it became a #1 national bestseller. Woohoo, that would be nice. And by day and by night, I was working on this book, blood, sweat, and tears. Let's say I poured into its creation. And lo and behold, I look up one day and something has happened. My book title changed. My book title changed to AI is taking over. And then someone named Teresa Douglas has listed herself as the author of a work that I actually originated and even changed the coloring of the number one national bestseller little bubble that's up there from blue to yellow. To be honest, I actually like the yellow more than the blue because it just stands out, right? It stands out and kind of is more in your face. But I mean, the nerve. Teresa Banks turned into Teresa Douglas with a different title. And I brought this up because the reason that we as writers and we as authors are concerned when it comes to our work is that we're worried it'll be picked up, right? By someone else. It'll be just snatched up, taken over, and that everything that we ourselves look to pull together, our ideas, our suggestions, again, our blood, sweat, and tears, as I use this example, they've just been snatched away by someone else that did not put in the work, that did not put in the effort and the time. And because we're concerned that our work could be stolen, we want to copyright. That is one of the main reasons that we want to copyright. So as I delve then into this subject and I talk about this copywriting, I'm going to begin with what is copywriting? It is the official protection to use and distribute a literary work. After all, again, we are the author. We are the one who has written it, and we want the ability to deliver it, to distribute it out into the marketplace, right? Right. An author gains legal protection of their intellectual property. What we have written, our book, our manuscript, that's considered intellectual property. And we want to claim that full ownership. Copywriting gives us the ability to do so. An author can take action against infringement and piracy should the need arise. Like I said, this Teresa Douglas person, I can now go after her. Of course, she's fictitious, but I could go after her if she was a real person who had stolen my work lawfully and legally with a copyright protection. And so again, I had used these side by side examples. I had done it by way of an overlay in my earlier example, but now with copyright protection, I can get myself a literary lawyer. I can take Miss Teresa Douglas to court and I can have a judge now help me to go after Teresa Douglas or anyone else that would try to lay claim to a work that I actually pulled together. And again, that's what we want by way of our copyright abilities is to give us that full ownership under the law to make use of our work, our manuscript, our book, and to distribute it and to have that ability to go after someone else who tries to lay claim to it. Let me go ahead and jump further into this subject matter again of copywriting. Well, how do we do it? You know, we could have this C within a circle that we put within our title page. That gives us copyright protection. And that C and that copyright and our name and whatever year it is that we copyright protected our work. I have like a little lock hanging off of it. Again, that's a way to do it. If we don't want to do it the official way, which I'll talk about here in just a second, we can do this. And this is still protecting our work and giving us the ability to lay claim to that work without question. But also, what we can certainly do is to go officially copyright it by way of the U.S. Copyright Office. And that is certainly the way that I'm suggesting that each and every one of you, it be the route you take to copyright your work, protect your work, so that again, if you have to go after someone, you can absolutely go after them. Now, the Copyright Office, they have a website. And from that particular website, which you see here across the screen, and you see the arrow pointing to the actual website address, you want to go there. Now, you can read all of course, the information that's out there on the website, but you want to go to the area that lets you do your copywriting. You'll have to sign to a system. ECO is what they call it, ECO. Get logged in and registered for that system. And by doing so, you can then sign in and get your copyright your manuscript copyright protected. And you see the prices up here. They're relatively inexpensive. $45 if you are the only author of that work. If there are multiple authors where you have co-authored or work with someone else, then $65 is the cost. If you decide, well, I don't want to do it electronically, I don't feel comfortable. Let's say this is you. You don't feel comfortable electronically sending your work, then you can mail it. And that paper filing is a bit more, right? $125. That is way more pricey. And then, of course, $800 if you need it expedited. I think that's a little costly, at least to me. But let's say you're in some emergency type situation and you're trying to hurry, and get your work copyright protected for $800. You can spend the money to do so. And then keep in mind, if you're working with a publishing house, then they're going to take on a lot of these tasks. This is more for someone who is a self-published writer and they're looking to go ahead and have their work copyright protected and understand the process. Again, you can put the C within a circle that copyright protects your work, but to do it officially is to go through the United States Copyright Protecting Office, the U.S. Copyright Office, and then to submit your work either electronically or, like I said, spending the extra money doing it by paper. But if you're working with that traditional publishing house, they'll give you the steps, they'll work with you, and they'll make sure it's copyright protected in your name. But I've come across a lot of self-published writers, and it's important to know how to do it yourself. Also, if you're working with a printing company, I said if you're working with a traditional publishing house, they'll help you. If you're working with a printing company and you decide that you want a printing company to print off a number of copies of your book, a lot of them for just a small fee, maybe another $20, $30 or whatever, they will help you copyright protect your work as well. Now, I'm going to take a short break. After this, again, less than 2-minute break, I'm going to answer some questions, what I consider the top 10 questions that I've received on this subject of copywriting. You want to stay with me until after that break. You're going to be surprised by some of these questions, and hopefully not my answers. And I'm going to give them to you right after the break. Stay with me. I'll be back in just a moment. Hello, everyone. This is author Teresa Banks, and I'm here to tell you that the Ellacec Publishing website has a lot to offer. You can purchase all 5 of my books, including my 3 works of nonfiction, Becoming a Published Author, I've Got a Testimony, and Surviving a Layoff. My 2 works of fiction are also available for sale from the website. Those include Barrenhood and Woman of Integrity. There are 5 different classes that I teach online, and you can register to attend those classes by way of the website. Those virtual classes include Surviving a Layoff, Zoom, PowerPoint, Book Marketing and Promoting, and Becoming a Published Author. You can purchase a video ad that will contain the content that you provide after you've made your purchase, and it'll be similar to the type of advertisement that you see by way of this particular video now. You can also buy jewelry that I've handcrafted myself, and you can purchase an I've Got a Testimony t-shirt. Go to the EllacecPublishing.com website today to make your purchase of any or all of the items that you see displayed here on the screen. You can also reach the website using the QR code located on the left-hand side of the screen. Thank you in advance for shopping at Ellacec Publishing. Okay, everyone. Hello and welcome back. I am author Teresa Banks. You are watching Ellacec Publishing Live, and I have been talking under the umbrella subject of book publishing about copywriting. Let me bring the purple board, as I like to call it, back up to see where we left off. Before the break, I talked about what is copywriting. And then I talked about how to copyright, going to the official copyright site to register officially. And now I'm going to talk on some questions as well as some answers. And I mentioned that if you don't want to do the official copyright by way of the copyright.gov website, then you can just use the simple way to do it with the C within a circle, the copyright information that you could place on your title page, or if you're working with a traditional publishing house, then you can work with them or a printing company to also get copyright protected. But this show is all about teaching you how to do your own copywriting, how to do it officially. And when you are doing it officially, especially if you turn your book over, you mail it in, the information will be stored at the Library of Congress located in Washington, D.C. Well, over the past number of years, Ellacec Publishing has been in business for 25 years. And I'd say probably about 20 of the 25 years as I've been teaching classes on publishing, on book marketing, I have had a lot of questions come up under just this one subject alone in regards to copywriting. And I've composed a number of slides, 10 slides in particular, that will cover the top 10 questions that I have been asked. And so I'll first show you what each individual question is. I'll give you just a short answer and then I'll give more detailed answers as I need to. Here comes the very first question. When should you copyright? I get that question a lot. Before going to market is what I have noted here. People will say to me, okay, Teresa, you said that I should copyright, preferably doing it official by going to the copyright.gov website. But when should I do it? Because I know that some people get really anxious, right? They get concerned again that someone is going to steal their work. Like I use the fictitious example that someone named Teresa Douglas had stole my work. And what I always tell writers, especially self-published writers, is right before you're looking to go to market, meaning you're looking to put your book out there into the public for their consumption, for their purchase, that's when you want to copyright protect your work. And I remember initially when I would teach classes, a lot of writers would say to me, no, I'm 3 or 4 chapters in. I want to do it right now because I'm worried that someone could steal my work. The problem with that is that if you are copyright protecting your work, let's say 2 or 3 chapters in, that is what you've copyright protected. It is copyright protecting at that moment of whatever you have submitted to the Copyright Office. And so, what if your work is, let's say, 12 chapters long? You've only copyright protected the first 2 or 3, right? To officially say that that belonged to you. Wait until your work is completely done. Wait until it is completely edited. Wait until right before you want to go ahead and put it out there into the market. Then copyright protect it before it's in the market. In between time, don't share it with a lot of people. Sometimes people are so worried that individuals are going to steal their work. And I say to writers, well, how can they steal it unless you're talking too much about it? Unless you've had too many people proofread it, right? And so, again, needless to say, please wait until right before you're going to market with it, copyright protected then. When you're protecting it, everything, you're protecting everything before it is handed out there to those that are going to read it. Let's see what the next question is all about. Should you copyright a modified book again? And as I've noted here, absolutely. Actually, I had this situation come up for myself. I made the decision to rewrite my book entitled Becoming a Published Author. And I would say probably 97% of the work I completely had redone. Now, if I had not copyright protected the work, then only that original book as I had read it, maybe about 8 years prior, would be the one that I was actually protecting. If you have changed a lot of your manuscript, absolutely have it copyright protected again because, again, it's that work, that new body of work, or that first body, that first full body of work. You're protecting each individual page. You're protecting your work and you want it protected exactly as you've written it in its final stage. Let's see what that third question is that is coming up now. How long is a copyright effective? Your lifetime plus 70 additional years. Now, I don't know, a lot of us may not be around for a lot of those 70 additional years, but it's just good to know that when you have written a manuscript, whether you have it officially protected or not, that it is still good. It is still effective for your lifetime plus another 70 years. And I'll talk a bit more in detail what I meant when I said whether you have it officially done or not. I'll talk about that under one of these questions that's coming up. But just know that when you've written a manuscript, and if you've published it as a book as well, that no one can take that work away from you, that it is yours for your entire life's existence and 70 more years after you've passed away. Let's see what our fourth question is. When is copywriting activated? The moment a work is created. That's good news right there, isn't it? That is good news. That as soon as we have put pen to paper, or as soon as we type something up using our laptops or our desktops or iPad, however you read it, your cell phone, it is your work. It belongs absolutely to you. So that is good to know that you're already the author of that particular work. Let's see what our fifth question is coming up out of the 10. Question number 5, what does fair use mean? Limited use of protected work. I've had authors say to me, my work is copyright protected because someone still used some of it. And they absolutely could without your permission. But there are restrictions to that. And you can go to the copyright.gov website to see what that list is in full of all those different restrictions. But basically, if people are using the work for educational purposes and they're still giving you the credit for it, they're not stealing it, right? They're trying to just help others, then yes, they can use it. That's considered fair use, but they must follow whatever the guidelines are for that fair use for sure. Let me go to the next question. This is number 6 out of the 10 that's coming up right now here on the screen. What's the poor man's copywriting? Mailing your work to yourself. I remember years and years ago, this was like the way to go because we just didn't jump into going ahead and doing our work, especially if you were a self-published writer. I'm a self-published writer slash author myself. And the way that people would do things back then is they would package up a printed copy of their manuscript. And I'm giggling a little bit here because that printed copy could be hundreds of pages long. And then they would mail it to themselves. That way you have the stamp often of the post office there, or at least at the very least, the delivery by way of the post office to your address. And then people would never open up that manuscript and they would say, okay, that is proof in the makings there that absolutely was your manuscript as of a particular point in time. Some people may say, well, what if I email it? I could just email it to myself. You could do it that way as well. But I know, especially being in the world of IT, information technology, we sometimes have to be careful with those date and time stamps because sometimes there could be ways to modify those within the computer. But that is the poor man's copyright, to literally just mail a copy of your manuscript to yourself. Let's see what question 7 is out of the 10. It's coming up on the screen now. What can happen to copyright violators? Monetary damages and a usage halt. I was saying before, I had that little picture up when I was talking about that fictitious character, Teresa Douglas, having stolen my work. And on one side of the screen, I had like a little picture of a courtroom and a gavel, right? And I said above it all that a literary lawyer could assist in going ahead, bringing someone to justice. Well, let's say if someone had stolen your work and they're just selling copies and selling copies, right? If you can prove, let's say that they gained thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, whatever. Let's say they gain movie rights or whatever, that you yourself would then be entitled to reap back what you've lost from a financial standpoint. And of course, you can say there has to be a halt in the use of your work as well. You would be looking to get that where they could stop absolutely in their tracks from using your work again. Let me see what the eighth question is that's coming up here that I am going to talk about now. Number 8 out of the 10, what can't copywriting protect? It can't protect everything. And what it cannot protect are facts, ideas, systems, and methods of operation. If you have written a work and whatever you've written that work on, you're just talking about things that are factual, and now you want to go out and try to copyright protect it as if it's your own ideas or your own suggestions or whatever. You can't do that. I mean, a lot of people probably try, but you are looking to copyright protect your original thoughts, your original ideas. So certainly keep that in mind for sure. Number 9 out of the 10 question is coming up now. Is copywriting applied across the globe once obtained? No, it isn't. Every country may not credit a work to an author via copyright protection. So that's something to keep in mind. And I did a bit of research on this because I thought, well, once something is copyright protected, let's say if you're living in the United States, then that would be honored if you go to another country. The United States certainly has various agreements across the globe where if you've written something as a writer, it will be honored, it will be respected, and others cannot just pick up your work and take it, but that may not be across the globe. And so do not assume that your work will be copyright protected. Oftentimes you may have to do additional research to see if there's something else that you may need to do in order to make sure that your work is copyright protected in other areas of the globe. Certainly do that research. And then the last question that's actually near and dear to my heart when it comes to copywriting that's coming up. Last question, number 10. Take a look at this one. Who owns an AI generated book? With AI standing for artificial intelligence, who owns it? Who owns that AI generated book? The verdict is still out. The verdict is still out. If you do some research yourself and you check up on that and you ask as well in your own research, you'll find that there's kind of a scale there. There's kind of a scale. It's somewhat a bit scary if you ask me. I ask writers to please be careful. They're really anxious, some that are out there, and having various AI tools do some of the thinking for them and do some of the defining of characters and some of the defining of paragraphs and some of the spelling out and identifying of chapters for them, right? And what I say to writers all the time is that what if you and I use some of those same resources? And then you and I go to copyright protect the work. Who really owns that copyright? I mean, somebody may say, well, the first one, baby, the first one that filed it officially, or the first one who mailed it to themselves as a poor man's copyright, or the first one that used the C within a circle and put it on the title page, or the first one that put it out there on the market. Because copywriting officially using the copyright.gov method is not something that's required. That's what I wanted to chat about here just a second on. It's not required because, again, as soon as you work and you look to publish it, it's already yours. You're just doing that official part to protect yourself, right, from a legal type of situation that could occur, to lay claim to it, or to go after someone, either financially for infringement, or in the event you have to tell them, halt, baby, because I own this. I officially own this. But you don't have to do it officially. And so, again, with that said, in dealing with AI, there's a really thin line there. There's a thin line in regards to the ownership. So please be careful. We may want to quickly become writers. And sometimes, as I talk to different authors, they don't want to put in as much work as some of us older school writers did many, many years ago, or we were up half the night. I think some singers would say the same thing, some recording artists, they would say the same thing. Back in the day, we didn't have these different talent shows we could get on, and we didn't have social media where we could market our stuff. And they really had to put in more of the work and more of the effort. But I'm grateful that we do have a lot of the technology that's out here. But with us writers, please, please, please be careful in using AI. Change it up. There's nothing wrong with using AI to give you some ideas, to help you to get to the place that you're looking to get to with your work. But change it up, because if you use it as it just gives you the information verbatim, that's when you can run into an issue, especially under the umbrella with copywriting. With that said, everyone, I am now going to bring up information in regards to some past videos that were done. Those of you that have been following me when I'm on live, I close with two different things. And one of those two things being the past videos that I have done. And it's so important because oftentimes you may have missed a particular subject that you need help on. I have talked about, for example, fictional characters. I did a whole video on the different character types. I was actually dressed as a cat when I did that. I have done a particular video on developing a protagonist. There's one out there on developing an antagonist, developing a foil. And I did a video recently on ISBN, which stands for International Standard Book Number. And so you may be one who is in the area of needing more information on one of those subjects. You can use the QR code that you see here on the screen. It will get you right over to the Ellacec Publishing YouTube channel, where you can learn more details about one of these subjects that are here on the screen, or certainly other subjects that I've talked about as well. And as I mentioned earlier on, you may not want to watch like a live, like some of you are doing right now. Some people, I get it. You may not have the time to sit here for 30 minutes or 35 or 40 minutes or however long I talk. I usually talk for 30 minutes, but some subjects like this one today, I might spend a little bit more time on. But you might want, like I said, a 1 minute or 5 minute quick video hit on something. And so the shorts are out there. Needless to say, if you are not subscribed to the Ellacec Publishing YouTube channel, absolutely subscribe to the channel. With that said, everyone, before I play the video that will let you know what's coming up January 2026, I want to wish you and your entire family, all of your friends, a safe and a very happy holiday season. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for those of you that are watching again right now, or that will watch the playback by way of the recording on Facebook or YouTube. Thank you for those that have purchased books, that have went out to the website, that have registered for classes that I teach virtually right here online in the area of publishing or in the area of book marketing. Thank you for those of you who have purchased jewelry. I have handcrafted some jewelry. Thank you for purchasing the jewelry as well as the t-shirts that say, I've got a testimony. Thank you for buying those as well. Thank you for your overall support. Take good care of yourself. If you need me, you have questions, feel free to go to the ellacecpublishing.com website. There is a contact us form, really short and sweet and to the point. You can fill it out, ask your question by way of the form, and I will absolutely get back to you. All the best to you. I'll look forward to seeing you in 2026, January the third Sunday, 3:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, be well and happy holidays. Bye-bye for now. Hey, this is author Teresa Banks. Ellacec Publishing live broadcasts on the third Sundays of every month from 3 o'clock p.m. until 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Like the Ellacec Publishing Facebook page and like and subscribe the Ellacec Publishing YouTube channel. Coming up on January the 18th, the topic will be book publishing literary agents. Please go to the ellacecpublishing.com website where you can purchase copies of all of my books. You can order t-shirts that I've designed myself or jewelry that I have handcrafted, and you can also place an order for a video ad. You can, in addition, register for classes that I teach under the area of publishing and book marketing. Thank you so much for all of your support. Enjoy the rest of your day and Happy New Year.